When a PE firm acquires multiple businesses, the investment thesis is usually clear: cross-sectional opportunities, operational leverage, and a unified customer base. The model works on paper. But here's what that model doesn't account for: the go-to-market technology stack. Every business you acquire comes with its own CRM, its own sales tools, its own marketing automation, and its own reporting dashboards. And in the first 90 days, when everyone is watching, when the team is uncertain, when the customers are nervous, you have a choice. You can let each business run its own systems, call it respecting autonomy, or you can treat this moment for what it really is: a once-in-a-company lifetime opportunity to build something better than any of its individual parts. The firms that get it right see faster revenue synergies, cleaner reporting to the board, and significantly lower customer churn during transition. The ones that get it wrong spend the next 3 years paying for 3 CRM licenses, arguing over what a qualified lead means, and explaining to their LPs why the cross-sell they promised hasn't materialized. So let me walk you through how to get it right, layer by layer. Every go-to-market integration starts in the same place: the CRM. It's your system of record. It owns the customer relationship. Everything else plugs into it. Before you choose a platform, do an audit, not of the software, but of the data. What does each business actually know about its customers? How clean is it? Which fields matter? What are the overlaps in prospect base? This audit tells you 3 things: which business has the best data hygiene, which platform is closest to what you actually need, and where the quick wins are in terms of deduplicating pipeline. Then you make a decision and you commit. The biggest mistake I see at this stage is trying to keep 2 CRMs running in parallel during a transition phase. There is no transition. You pick one up, you migrate, you train, and you move on. The CRM decision should be driven by 2 criteria only: which platform best supports a combined go-to-market motion, and which one your best salespeople will actually use. Everything else is a feature request. Once you have a single CRM live, you have a foundation. Now you build on it. Sitting alongside the CRM is a layer of what I call adjacent tools, the connective tissue of your go-to-market operations. Call dialers, sequencing tools, lead enrichment platform, CPQ software, e-signature, contract management, etc., etc. These tools vary enormously across acquired businesses. One company will have a sophisticated outbound sequence setup. Another will be doing everything manually in spreadsheets. A third might have a CPQ workflow that's actually quite elegant. The integration principle here is the same as the CRM. Audit first, decide one, and do not let legacy contracts hold you hostage. Renegotiate as a combined entity. You have scale, and that gives you real commercial leverage with vendors. But the most important principle is this: don't automate bad process. If a business has a clunky quoting workflow before the acquisition, migrating that to a new tool doesn't fix that. This is the moment to redesign it. Look at how each business handles the process, pick the best version, and build that. The next layer is sales enablement, and this is where you'll find some of your most immediate wins. Each business you've acquired has collateral, pitch decks, case studies, battle cards, proposal templates, objection handling guides. Some of it will be excellent, some of it embarrassing. Most of it will be siloed, invisible to the sales team, sitting in the next building. The integration goal here is simple: build one library, visible to every seller across the brand, that surfaces the right content at the right stage of the deal. Tools like HubSpot, Sesmic, or even a well-structured SharePoint can do this. The technology is not the hard part. The hard part is the curation. Sitting down with your best salespeople from each business and agreeing on what good looks like. That process, done properly, is one of the most valuable things you can do in the first 100 days. It forces a commercial convention across brands, it surfaces best practices, and it gives you a new unified sales team, a shared language, which is worth far more than any piece of software. Marketing is where the politics tend to get the loudest, because every marketing team thinks their system is the right one. Set that aside. What you're looking at is for a single marketing automation platform that can run campaigns for all of your brands, separately where the customer experience demands it, and together where there is a cross-sell or upsell opportunity. Migrating marketing automation is genuinely complex. You're moving workflows, audience segments, lead scoring modules, email sequences, and attribution logic. If you rush it, you'll break campaigns mid-flight and you'll lose leads that were already in nurture. My recommendation? Run a parallel period, but give it a hard deadline. 8, 12, 24 weeks. During this time, you're rebuilding your campaigns in the new platform, not running both indefinitely. A couple of weeks before that hard deadline, make the switch. See what happens. You've still got time to iterate if things go wrong. The prize here isn't just operational efficiency. It's the ability to see the entire demand generation funnel across the portfolio in one place and start identifying where one brand's content can feed another brand's pipeline. Now let's talk about customer success. And I want to spend a moment here because this is the layer that directly protects your existing revenue. Customers notice acquisitions. They read the press release, they ask questions, and if they don't get answers quickly, they start conversations with your competitors. Your customer success tooling, whether that's Gainsight, Churn Zero, Totango, PlanHat, HubSpot, or something similar, needs to give your CS team a unified view of customer relationships across every product and brand they touch. This matters in a multi-brand portfolio because the customer who looks low risk in one system might be showing churn signals in another. Without integration, you don't see it until it's too late. But there's an upside here too. A unified CS view surfaces your expansion opportunities. The customer who's been with brand A for 3 years and doesn't know brand B exists, that's not a marketing problem, that's a data visibility problem. Fix the tooling and those conversations start happening naturally. Finally, reporting. And I'll be direct here because I know this is what you actually care about when you're sitting in front of your investment committee. Right now, you own 3 businesses, you're probably receiving 3 different board packs in 3 different formats, built on 3 different definitions of annual reoccurring revenue or pipeline coverage or customer acquisition cost. Consolidating your reporting layer is not glamorous work, but it's transformative. When you have a single data warehouse or even a well-connected BI tool sitting on top of your integrated stack, you can finally see the portfolio as a business, not as a collection of spreadsheets. First, the KPIs to standardize. Pipeline by stage, revenue by product line, customer health score, and CAC to LTV ratio across brands. Get those 4 into a single view and you have something genuinely useful for both operational management and board reporting. The commercial upside goes beyond internal visibility. When you come to an exit, a business that can demonstrate consolidated, auditable, cross-brand revenue intelligence commands a premium. Buyers aren't just buying your customers, they're buying your operational clarity. Now, a moment to talk about what happens if you don't do this, because there's a temptation, and I see it constantly, to prioritize the integration of the balance sheet, the legal structure, the HR policy, and leave the go-to-market stack as a phase 2 project, which never quite arrives. Here's what that will cost you. Your best salespeople will leave. Not because of the acquisition, but because they're being asked to work across 2 systems with no clear processes, no unified pipeline view, and no story to tell customers about what the combined business actually does. Your customers would affect. Not because your product got worse, but because the relationship with a person who left, or an account team that got reorganized, or the fact that nobody in the new structure could see their history. And your data degrades. Every month, 2 CRMs run in parallel, duplicate records multiply, lead attribution breaks down, and the cost of migration goes up and up. What would have taken 3 to 6 months will now take 9, 12, 24 months. The window to do this cleanly is short. The first 90 to 120 days. After that, teams have rebuilt their habits around those old systems. Customers have formed new expectations, and you're no longer integrating. You're disrupting an already disrupted business. Let me give you the pitfalls I see most often, because knowing what not to do is half the battle. The first is letting the loudest voice pick the platform. The VP of sales who shouts the loudest about keeping their CRM is usually the one most afraid of scrutiny. Platform selection should be driven by data and commercial requests, not by seniority or sentiment. The second is migrating the mess. Don't move dirty data into a new system. You'll just have a clean platform with dirty data inside it. This migration is your opportunity to set a new standard for data quality. Take it. The third is uninvesting in training. You can have the best technology stack in the market, but if your team does not know how to use it, you've bought yourself a very expensive problem. Budget for training, budget for change management, budget for the first 60 days of support. It pays back every time. And the fourth, the one that's killing more integrations than anything else, is having no owner. System integrations across a portfolio needs an accountable person, not a committee, not a shared responsibility between a CTO and a COO. One person with the authority to make the decision and mandate to enforce them. Without that, every meeting ends up in a compromise and nothing ships. Here's what I want to leave you with, because I don't want you to feel like this is a risk management exercise. It isn't. This is an opportunity. When you bring 2, 3, 4 or more businesses together, you're not averaging down. You're not picking the least bad system and forcing everyone into it. You are, if you do this right, taking the best from each organization and building something none of them could have built alone. Maybe brand A has the best structured CRM data. Maybe brand B has a sales enablement library that's genuinely world-class. Maybe brand C has a customer success process that reduces churn to nearly zero. You now own all three. The integration is how you make those capabilities available to every seller, every marketer, and every customer success manager across the entire group. That's not a cost center, that's a multiplier. And the businesses that come out of an integration with this kind of operational foundation, with a unified commercial stack, clean data, and a team that knows how to use it, they grow faster, retain better, and exit at higher multiples. I've seen it happen, it's repeatable, and it starts with a decision made early that the go-to-market systems integration is not a back-off project. It's a commercial strategy. If you're sitting on a portfolio right now where this is a live challenge, or you're in the middle of a deal where it's about to become one, I genuinely enjoy a conversation. This is the work that we do at RevOps Automated, and whether this leads us to working together or just gives you a clearer frame for tackling it internally, I think is a conversation worth having. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or book an appointment with one of my strategists at www.revopsautomated.com. I'm trying to publish more about this topic as I understand it's a pain point for many, and I'm happy to go deeper in any of the areas we've covered today. Thanks for watching.